Hey everyone. Okay, so this is a little rant that I've been wanting to do for quite a long time, but I've had to spend a lot of time figuring out exactly what I wanted to say about these people. So as you can see from the picture, my rant is going to be about the folks at the good old Westboro Baptist Church in Topeka, Kansas. Now some of you may be saying, well, I've never heard of the Westboro Baptist Church. Who are they? Well, however, a vast amount of you know exactly who I'm talking about, but for those of you who don't, allow me to explain. These are the idiots that are constantly traveling around the country and protesting at the funerals of military personnel, mainly soldiers who have died either in combat, overseas, or otherwise. They also seem to enjoy engaging in this perverted activity at colleges, high schools, other churches, and other places where they think they have a right to be when in actuality they don't. Their belief, which in all honesty is the most ridiculous thing to ever be suggested in the history of the entire universe, is that God, of all people, is the one killing our soldiers because he's punishing America for tolerating gay people such as myself. They're also the ones who hold up these sick, hateful signs that say things such as God hates America, thank God for dead soldiers, God hates, well, I'm going to say gays because I absolutely refuse to use the other four-letter word that they enjoy spitting out of their mouths to describe us. When they're at these funerals, all they do is laugh and hurl sick, demonic, demented insults towards the bereaved families who want nothing more than to remember and bury their loved ones in peace. Clearly, all Westboro is trying to do is purposely incite hatred and violence. They actually want people to get angry enough to want to physically attack them just so that they can sue the pants off of people to get more money that they do not deserve to have. Not only that, but these people, these brutes, also take it upon themselves to not only partake in singing, well, if you can even call it that, since none of them can carry a tune in a bucket in this lifetime or any other, singing parodies, sick ones I might add, of different quote-unquote patriotic songs that they've composed. And they also decided to take it upon themselves to drag the American flag across the ground and step all over it like it's nothing more than a piece of garbage to them. Which brings me to my next point. If Westboro thinks that God hates America so much, and if they hate America so much and think that this country is so bad, then what the hell are they even still doing here? You know, it's like the old saying goes, as far as America's concerned, you either love it or you frickin' leave it. Clearly, these monsters hate America with a passion. So you know what? As far as I'm concerned, the bastards can leave and never, ever come back. We don't need people of that kind poisoning this country. And believe me when I say that I use the term people very, very loosely when describing Westboro, because they are anything but people. Now, I want to take a quote from Bob Schieffer of CBS News. On one of the episodes of his weekly Face the Nation television program that airs on Sunday mornings, this was about a couple months ago, I believe, he said that for anyone to even insinuate that they have any advanced knowledge of God's reasoning is absolutely ridiculous beyond belief. Now, those weren't his exact words, but I just wanted to get the point across, because he is absolutely 100% right. The Westboro Baptist Church, no, you know what? I think in this case, they need to be referred to as what they really are, which is nothing more than a glorified hate group and a sick, twisted cult operating under the moniker of a church. These inhuman monsters in no way, shape, or form deserve the privilege of being called a church of any kind. Not only that, but there is no other church on the face of this entire planet who will even associate themselves with Westboro because of this crap that they do. And you know what? I don't blame them one bit, because I wouldn't associate with Westboro either, not even if my own life depended on it. Anyway, moving on. These monsters also claim that they are, quote-unquote, God's elect, that God has chosen them to be the ones to deliver his message to the world. Okay, no one cares what these idiots have to say, and they never will care. But of course, the Westboro cultists are way too full of themselves to get that through the pea-sized brains that they have. These monsters, these cultists, also seem to enjoy using the Bible as a weapon. They take Bible verses that they think look interesting to them, and they severely twist the wording around to make things match up with their own sick, perverted beliefs. All these so-called Bible verses that you see on some of their signs aren't even in the frickin' Bible to begin with. That, my friends, is how incredibly insane the Westboro cultists are. Which brings me now to this picture. This was a little something that I threw together on a website that a couple of friends of mine referred me to, which you can find down in the video description box. 1 John 3:15. Read it, learn it, accept it. The verse states, "Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him." So basically, in essence, the Westboro cultists are considered murderers in the eyes of the Christian God because they hate everyone and everything except themselves. And if hating were actually a crime, each and every last one of these monsters would be in jail for genocide. But for now, I'll settle for them being condemned to an eternity in hell. Another verse that caught my attention is 1 John 2:9, which states, "Anyone who claims to be in the light but hates his brother is still in the darkness." Can't argue with that, can we? That pretty much says it all right there. Now, I despise Westboro just as much as the next person in this world, but unfortunately the U.S. Supreme Court ruled a while back that their pickets, their protests, are considered protected speech under the First Amendment. Protected speech? Are you freaking kidding me? These monsters are a very clear danger to public safety. They purposely try to incite violence against other races, religions, cultures, sexual orientations, whatever. And the Supreme Court is going to have the audacity to say that Westboro's hate speech deserves to be considered protected? That has got to be the most hellacious and ridiculous thing that I have ever heard in my entire life. As far as I'm concerned, and I'm pretty sure as far as the rest of the world is concerned, Westboro does not have any right whatsoever to do the crap that they do. Now, I'm a fan of the First Amendment just like everyone else in this country, but as far as I'm concerned, hate speech is not free speech. Not when it's coming from people who want nothing more than to ruin and blatantly endanger the lives of others just because they get some sort of sick, perverted pleasure out of it. But you know what? What hurts me the most, what hurts my heart the most, is that these monsters are using their own children. I'm not talking about 10, 11, 12-year-olds. We're talking kids as young as 4, 5, 6 years old. They're using their own children to help further their sick agenda. They force these kids to hold up these signs, and they teach them to say these extremely derogatory things about other people, such as the gay F word and other terms like that. The Westboro cultists are literally brainwashing their own children to further their agenda, and it makes me want to vomit. One video I saw on YouTube a while back shows a little girl singing one of Westboro's sick parodies called "God Hates the World," which is done to the tune of "We Are the World." I thought about posting the song here so you all could take a listen to this perverted piece of work, but then my conscience kicked in and told me that really wouldn't be a good idea. So I'm choosing not to, so as to not upset anyone watching this, but if you do want to hear it, just look it up on YouTube and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, back to what I was saying. It just really, really hurts my heart to have to see these little kids being forced to do these things, and even worse, to be put in the line of fire if any member of the civilized public decides to physically retaliate against these cultists. And if that's not considered child abuse of some kind, then I have no frickin' idea what is. All I know is that someone should have taken those kids away from that cult a long damn time ago, because what's going to eventually happen is they're going to grow up and they're going to come to the realization that they disagree with what's being preached to them by that wrinkled up old nutsack Fred Phelps, as well as their own parents and other family members. Then, unfortunately, what's going to happen is they're going to be quote-unquote kicked out of the cult and excommunicated from their own families. This has already happened to quite a few of the Phelps family members who decided to no longer listen to the hate speech that was being preached to them. And it's just terribly, terribly sad. Terribly sad. Now, I am by no means a Christian of any kind, but I have family members who are, as well as many friends who are. I actually have a lot of friends who follow many different spiritual paths: Christianity, Catholicism, Baptist, Muslim, pagan, Wiccan, like me, and I love and respect each and every single one of them. In Westboro's case, however, they can claim to be anything that they want, but the truth is that these people are not Christians, they are not Baptists, nor do they speak for any other known religion in this world. So for anyone who's watching this video right now and maybe hearing about Westboro for the first time, or if you're at the stage in your life where you're trying to determine which spiritual path is the right one for you, do not listen to or believe a word these people say. In no way do they speak on behalf of any form of organized religion. Now, I can say that I've actually butted heads on Twitter with a select few of the Westboro members. The most recent confrontation coming after I simply passed along the 1 John 3:15 verse to a lot of them. Nothing distasteful came from me whatsoever. Well, one of them actually took the time to respond to my post and began very viciously harassing me. This person, who I should add was too chicken to give his name, did nothing more than result to using shameless insults, which, by the way, were absolutely pathetic and childish in nature, to calling me things such as a blasphemer, a dumbass, and even a retard. See, that's how insecure these people must be with themselves. To resort to using those kinds of, sad, pathetic attempts at insults just proves that they are so desperate for attention that they will say or do anything to get it. Because in reality, they know that they are no match for the civilized world. Speaking of the civilized world, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to this awesome chick right here, Lisa Lampanelli. Before her show last night in Topeka, Kansas, the Westboro cultists decided to stage one of their usual pickets, but people, good old Miss Lampanelli had one hell of an ace up her sleeve. She made it known that for every Westboro member that showed up to picket, she would donate $1,000 to the Gay Men's Health Center, which, for those of you who don't know, is the nation's oldest HIV/AIDS prevention, treatment, and care services provider. And just to show you how big of an impact this had, Lisa has recently announced that she will be sending a check for $40,000 to the center on behalf of Westboro. Anyway, back to the issue at hand. Now, back on April 9th, the Westboro cult had their accounts on Tumblr.com deleted after they were repeatedly reported for engaging in behavior in which they were posting extremely repulsive content and issuing abuse and even threats to other members of the website. Now, for a long time now, they've been engaging in the same exact behavior on Twitter. Now, as I said before, I've actually butted heads with a few of the Westboro cultists on Twitter, including the rather infamous Shirley Phelps Roper, who serves as the official spokesperson of Westboro. Now, some of my friends on Twitter, and even I myself, have repeatedly been issued abuse and threats from various Westboro cultists on Twitter. And I have also firsthand seen evidence of them doing the exact same thing to people on the website that I didn't even know. One of my friends had told me a while back, a few months ago I believe, that at least a couple of the Westboro members actually had their Twitter accounts deleted and were banned from the website for engaging in the behavior that they were, but that they somehow found their way back onto the website and have been doing the exact same thing ever since. So I decided that I was going to do something about it. So with that said, a petition was started back on April 17th, which is calling for Twitter to immediately denounce the hate speech being dished out by the Westboro cult and to ban all of the members from the website. No one, and I mean absolutely no one, should have to be forced to endure distress from a group whose only agenda is to promote hatred, bigotry, violence, racism, and intolerance towards literally the rest of the civilized world. Now, the petition has already been printed out and mailed to Twitter's main headquarters in California, but they have been informed that the petition is still very much active and is still receiving signatures, and it will continue to do so. I would very much like to have anyone who watches this nice little video to go and sign the petition and help to try and make a positive change and to help make the internet a somewhat safer place to be. Just go down to the video description box, find a link, click on it, and it will take you directly to the petition. Then all you have to do is sign it, and your voice will be heard. Alright, well, I think that's going to do it for what may be my first of many rant videos to come. I think I'm going to make it a point to try to do one of these every once in a while for things that I think sound interesting to talk about. So keep an eye out for more. Laters.